Hello, listeners and viewers. Welcome back to another session. I'm really excited because today I get to bring back some guests that have been on, and they haven't been back in over a year, but they've done a lot of great work behind the scenes to help out this show and bringing in new guests. And of course, they're taking off with a lot of their own personal work. I'm so excited to talk about Shock the Culture today. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and please check out the links in the show notes. And of course, as always, welcome to IPA Sessions. Welcome to IPA Sessions, a podcast for independent artists. As always, I'm your host, Kay Jacob, and once again, I have two special guests who are coming back to the show to give us a brief update of what's been happening over the last year or so, but also to talk about something new and something special and something very dear to them, something that's more than just a podcast, more than a webcast. It's a movement. I have Dom Hollins back again, the talent agent for Forever Hollins, who is the man that was responsible for IPA having so many wonderful musicians on last summer during the Summer of Music. And I have his good friend and friend of the show, Kirk Rich, back on again, executive producer, and they're here to talk about Shock the Culture. Welcome back, guys. Say hi.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
What's up?
Hey.
What's up? Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, man, I'm really glad you guys are here. We've obviously been staying in touch throughout the year and with everything going on as I've been trying to grow and expand IPA. You guys have been doing the same, and you also we mentioned it briefly in the last sessions that y'all were on about Shock the Culture, but we never really got into it. But tell me something. What is going on with you guys right now? What is the update of what's been happening in the last year for you?
Shot the culture, man. It's really grown. Shot the culture is basically it started off as an idea for a podcast. Me, Kirk, and a high school teammate of ours, Reese. We basically came up. We argue about sports all the time, or we have debates about things that's going on with just basketball. Uh, you know, and we basically started a pod from that and recorded some episodes, and we just kind of added to it. It turned into not only basketball, but it turned into musicians. It turned into motivation. It turned into money. So all of that together is Shock the Culture, where we, you know, shock the world through content. Look. How shock the world through content and conversations that change the world. I forgot my own intro.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like
Uh,
you guys have been busy and more productive than ever. That's great. I love to see and hear that you guys are continuing to grow. What's new with you, Kirk?
Yeah, man. Same like you were saying, the shock the culture, the expansion of that. It's more so, I just look at it as how we how we do life. Like those are all the areas that he talked about are areas that we've spent 10,000 hours each in sports. Basically how the expansion happened was I came to him and I was like, bro, you he knows how I feel. This is going to be public. I was like, I don't think he gives himself enough credit, like with how much work he does behind the scenes. And I just showed him some before and after stuff. I'm like, this was pre Dom and this is post Dom. Like, look at how several individuals have benefited from the work you've done behind the scenes. And you know the work that I do with people with trading and investing and mindset and all that stuff. And we both passionate about sports. So it's like, yeah, the sports is cool, but it's like Walmart just selling, I don't know, field peas or something. It's so much more that we could do. And so I've helped a lot of people make a lot of money. You've helped a lot of people grow their brands into 6, 7 figure businesses. So why don't we add that to it as well? You know what I'm saying? With him being a marketing expert, me having a lot of experience in sales. So we recently ventured into helping entrepreneurs to grow their movements.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's been fun. We just got our first corporate client, and
Nice.
yeah, we just got our
Congrats, dude.
yeah, our first big boy corporate client.
I don't think you could be on independent projects anymore. What's up? Can I still have you on here?
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
What Kirk
Congrats.
said, we independent players.
Yes.
You still indie at heart, and that's how you got to where you are. You deserved it. You earned it. You worked for it. Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, India at heart.
Thank you.
I know we're talking about shock the culture. I think it's cool too because we know Dom from the last conversation we had as a talent agent at the time who was dealing with a lot of artists and musicians out there. And then Kirk, you're the businessman, you're the money man. You have that mindset to really, like you said, help grow and improve businesses for entrepreneurs. And obviously, you know what you're talking about. It's paid off for you guys. You're stepping up. And now you mentioned with Shot to Culture, you guys expand beyond just that realm because you mentioned sports. I've watched a couple of these episodes. You guys have some really cool guests on the show, really cool athletes, a ton of basketball players. How did you get that connection with these guys? That's so cool.
Well, everyone was sitting down during the pandemic, and we just trying to find something to do. Everyone's sitting down, figuring out a way to email and reach out to people, DM, being consistent, persistent, reaching out, little tactics, commenting under post, just trying to get their attention and it clicking, talking to them, and getting them on the show. It really kicked off with Chingy. Shout out to Chingy and In Grooves and Hood Hop Music, Jay Quan, Nelly, all of them. I talk to his manager often because he manages some artists, and we've talked about doing some marketing projects because I'm also, we're also tied in with marketing for artists too. So we went from that to getting Richie Evans on, who's still in talks with MMG with Rick Ross. Shout out to Richie. We've had a few other artists. We have some basketball, like you said, NBA players. It's been pretty dope, but just really reaching out. Like you're never like talking to them. It's really just reaching out, like being intentional in the reach out, not making it sound like a robot. Hey, Jacob, my name is Dominique. I would
It's about
love for
being
you to
direct.
come on. I would love for you to come on our show. Let me know what you think. Versus Jacob, bro. That LA Dodgers you had on in the last episode was fire, bro. You know what I'm saying? You might respond to that versus
It's more
something.
human. Yeah, it's more. That's
Yes,
the first time that you reached out to me when we first started this. Was I read your message and I was like, oh, this sounds like a genuine human being. And you weren't asking me to sell makeup products, so that was really cool. That was definitely a
yeah.
plus.
I never even thought about that, man. Reaching out to you, and I remember applauding you about the algorithm. Like
Yeah,
literally, when I type in independent artists, your podcast is the first one that pops up. So just basically how we met doing that with others. That's really how it started. And expanding from that to shorts to the knowledge of YouTube, social media. Kirk ain't gonna tell y'all because he don't broadcast it, because this how he would do me. Graphic man, all the graphics, it's him. He's excellent with the graphics. It's like corporate level. I told him I've worked with companies that are in the 6-figure, 7-figure range. And I told him, bro, you never told me you knew how to do graphics, because when we were looking for graphic man, I
that's
definitely
no
would have
easy
plugged.
feat,
Yeah,
right?
but he's all the graphics, all the flyers, all that. The logo was Shot the Culture. He created it. So it's, you know, putting that together. Um, you know, starting communities to bring in and empower artists and independents of all types, like you do here on the show. We really just bundled it all into one thing, man. It just Shock the culture. It's a movement. Like we trying to shock the culture, and we gonna show people that it's possible. Like
Yeah.
whatever you thinking about, oh, we got that at Shock the Culture. Yeah, we put in
Yeah.
the time, we put in the work. It's all here. It's you know money, music, marketing, motivation. Come get some.
Networking is key as always, it seems. Yeah, come get
Yeah.
some. Tell me about the movement. Tell me about Shock the Culture. Break it down for me, and also just in general, promote it. Where can people find this? How can they go, and check it out? What is it all about? Give me the whole breakdown.
Very, very simple. We were able to bundle a lot of stuff. I don't want people to, hear us think we're just all over the place. So it was definitely very intentional. We were able to bundle things that have a lot of the same overlying principles. You know what I'm saying? So being successfully independent, as you know, you have to have a certain mindset. Everybody loves the idea of, oh, I want to fire my boss. I want to wake up and nobody tell me what to do. I want to do this. I want to do that. But it's like, hey, you're only at work for 8 hours. You still have 16 other hours. You, you don't even account for those. You can't say what you've done those other 16 hours. So you actually need a boss to help you be productive. You got to graduate from that mindset first. Can you be accountable for the other 16 hours you have to yourself? So what we were doing, like Dom is one of the hardest and like just most diligent and consistent people that I know in terms of the work.
I can attest to
So
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it was easy. It was easy for us. He knows the marketing part. I know the mindset and the money portion, and so now we're helping to kind of fill that gap. Whether it's an independent artist who needs help in one of those areas, because we always say you can't do this independent music thing without the money, right? Otherwise, you're looking for a rich sugar daddy. You're looking for a sugar daddy to come along and be like, I pick you out the crowd and I want to make your life better. Here's $1 million. Do I like your
Wouldn't that
song?
be nice?
You know what I'm saying? and you still want to own all your masters. You don't want him to have anything, right? So we help people to bridge the gap between that mindset and yes, you have the talent, but now here's the money portion. And then for
Make
businesses,
yourself your own sugar daddy.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And then for the business portion, it's like now we're running into people with capital, but they don't have that independent creativity or imagination. So you see what I'm saying? So we're still able to keep that independent spirit and bring it to okay. Now for the corporate clunky client who's like, yeah, we have the bread, we have the money, but no innovation. Okay, here's how you can X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
Because we're like Dom is used to making people stand out from a crowd and they don't have anything but, a decent song and maybe 2 followers, but somehow their post go viral when he gets a hold to it. And I'm able to help people go from, hey, you didn't have any money, try this, that, and the third. Okay, voila, now you got some money. So now we combine those two and we help, creatives, independents, whoever, corporate clients, whatever they are, whatever that gap is, we're like, okay, let's fill this gap and let's intentionally fill it. So for each client, it could be something different.
Okay.
But thanks to our experience and just the work that we put in now, for a decade plus, we're able to do so efficiently without, burnout.
Now, with Shock the Culture, I know that you can see videos on YouTube. Is there any other place that we can find and watch these videos? And what is the setup like? Is it just an interview or is it more than an interview? Because I feel like from what I watched, it seems like a comfortable environment where you're just conversating with friends, even though you guys may have only just met through, like Dom said, networking and reaching out to people. But the environment you provide has this like friendship of like, oh, we're just chatting, we're just shooting it back and forth, like
Yeah.
just between us and like letting you know exactly how it is and how we feel.
Mhm.
What is the purpose of that for you guys, and why is that the format? Why do you create such a great environment for
I
that?
believe it's just I take this, just making people feel comfortable. That's big for me. Like that's big. Same, for Dom. I know personally that's my thing. Is like, hey, I want to make people feel comfortable. I want them to feel like, okay, let's open up. let's have a conversation that you normally probably wouldn't have.
That's the thing too. The
Yes,
conversation part. I like that because you do get them to open up and they have these conversations where it's like it's not the same conversation that you hear on other interview segments or like when you see like a news interview or a
yeah,
sports interview and they always ask the same questions and they always get the same responses. You guys tend to find a way to ask those questions a little differently where it
yes,
becomes more personalized and they give you a reason why they respond the way they do,
yeah,
not just giving you that response.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's intentional. We
yeah,
do that on purpose. And you know, it's something Kirk brought up when we kind of talked about just doing artist interviews. Um, I remember having a conversation with him, and he was like, "I'm tired of hearing the same questions. Where you from? Why'd you start rapping?
yeah,
What you got coming out?" That's stuff that you could just go on their Instagram and figure out.
Right.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's talk about let's talk about why did you start rapping? What what's your earliest memory of music? Let's talk about some bars that you said. What did you mean? Cause now you like, oh, you really listen to my music. Yeah, we did.
You play
We
on their
wasn't gonna bring you,
passions. Yeah.
yeah,
we weren't gonna bring you on here if you was talking about, you know what I'm saying, some nonsense.
yeah,
So let's talk about how, let's talk about how you got a million streams on Can't Knock the Hustle with Rick Ross. Let's talk about how did it feel to be at the BET Awards performing with Nelly? How did it feel beefing with Two Chains? Chingy,
yeah.
you know, how Trail Mo, how did it feel doing paid shows as an independent artist?
With 2 followers.
You know what I'm saying? How did we gonna talk like stuff that now that and shout out to IPA, you're doing content.
I'm
You gotta
trying.
think ahead.
Trying to
No, you
evolve.
are.
Yeah, trying to
Try-
evolve.
Trying is doing it though, Jacob.
Yeah.
So you gotta kind of think ahead. Like when we pick questions, you gotta think about the titles.
Mm,
Like I knew when I asked the Two Chains question, this is gonna be the title. And I'm gonna clip this up. People going when they search Two Chains, they see the Chingy video next to it. So it's like you got to think about titling and the algorithm with the questions. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what it's about, man. We definitely want to, back to what Kirk said, make it comfortable.
yeah,
Let's have a conversation. Let's showcase each other.
yeah. And like piggyback off what he
Little,
said, I just keep it like, why would anybody want to take time out their day to listen to your music? You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I'm at the age now, where I was younger, we were young, I might be dating myself, we would go on live mixtapes, that piv, hot new hip hop, trying to get all the new music. Now I'm at the age where it's like, I'll listen to you if your story has something that I can relate to. You know what I'm saying? So, when people come on,
right.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, I was just, I don't care nothing about that. Like, so, I try to think of, for the casual fan, what's a question that might get somebody to be like, oh, I'm actually going to listen to your music because I like your story. Or, hey, I'm actually support your business because the way you started, it relates to how I feel or how, you know what I'm saying? So now you
Yeah.
have people who are listening with a vested interest versus just assuming or putting it out there and now people are going to listen. So Dom is like very great at connecting, making it make sense into the algorithm, you know,
Yeah.
and I like to make it make sense for the if somebody comes across this video, they're going to be like, you know what, this is worth 2 minutes of my time to watch this clip up and now I want to watch the whole interview because that whatever it is that person was talking about, I can relate to it, or now I want to know more, something like that.
That's
Yeah.
actually what pulls me in because when I'm surfing on YouTube and just checking out some stuff, because I follow you guys, I'm subscribed to Shock the Culture. I'll get the clips that'll pop up every now and then, and I like them because they're digestible. They're not the whole show; it's just some portions, and that tends to pull me in to be like, oh wait, when did they have this on? When did this episode come out? And then I'll go over and check it out and like put it on in the background when I'm driving or something, so it plays. Because thankfully I can hook stuff up in my car to do that. Uh, but that's what I like is the clips. They're digestible. They're great, and you pull just the right amount of the conversation to where you're like, oh, this is the vibe of what the show is going to be like today. This is the conversation that's happening here. And like for me, a lot of the times, like I said, when you had the basketball players on, I'm not a huge sports guy. It's not really something I'm big into. But when I listen to these episodes, the way the conversations are happening, I get kind of drawn into it. 'Cause I'm like, well, this is more than just basketball they're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
I like hearing their drives and their ambitions and like what got them to where they came to. And it was them. They got themselves there and they talk about it. And it's really cool. Like I said, you provide that personal environment, which is what I like to try and do with this show is give that personal environment. Like this is for you. So talk about you. You don't have to put on something special because that's what they say. You don't have to read from the box, just like what's going on, what's up, as Dom said earlier, why, why are you
Yeah.
here, what got you excited in something unrelated to what you do, that draws me in. Those episodes are fascinating, the conversations are great, and I'm starting to understand when every time I go, hey, how about your podcast, and Tom goes, it's a movement, it's not a podcast. And I'm starting to finally understand what you mean by that, and I really like it. I
Yeah.
also want to
Appreciate that.
I want to let people know too, do yourself a favor, check out the clips. Like he said, there's always a couple of different clips for each episode that they put out, that will give you an idea of how that episode will go in its entirety. And when you find something that you're really enjoying, listen to the whole show. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And also, how do you guys air these? What is your usual release days and like times? Is there like, for IPA, for example, we're a bi-weekly show. I try and release every other Friday, at least twice a month, every 2 weeks when I can. How do you guys operate for Shock the Culture?
We don't have a schedule. No, I'm joking. We just
Isn't that
nah.
nice?
Hey, it's crazy though. We record on Thursdays. But you want to know? Uh, I came from posting 3 to 5 shorts a day. We post content on our Shot the Culture channels every day. Every day. We take clips from the culture. It could be money, motivation, artists, older episodes. Because we have a lot of episodes where it's me and Kirk just talking for hours about what's going on. Um, but there's a clip every day. If it's not a short, a mid form, a long form, there's something coming from our channel every single day, and it's helpful. It's something that'll spark a conversation. I try to pick, if it's not one of our episodes, I try to pick something current, and I look at our analytics to see what our audience is watching, and I'll chop up clips from those episodes, because in the YouTube studio it'll show you what your subscribers are watching,
Yeah,
and I try to base the content around that.
that's how you always
And
end up in
we
my feed.
yeah.
That
So
was some
if
sauce right
you're
there,
yeah.
dog.
Huh?
That was some sauce right there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
Jacob can
clever.
post that. Yeah, but yeah, that's what we do, and even with that goes back to the guests, like, because we've had people that asked to come on, and we kind of, we're not recording right now, but you know, we're kind of intentional about who we bring on, because it's like we do vet and see, like, all right, is this going to be something that's going to help our audience, or can they talk about something that, like when we had the Kings on Twin Kings. Shout out to Twin
Oh,
Kings.
those guys are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they turned down deals as independent artists. So having them on explaining why they did that, that could help other independent artists that are following us, because our music clips do well and our sports clips do well.
Yeah.
So, the insights, or excuse me,
And I want
the
to
studio and the algorithm shows that the music and the sports clips work. So yeah,
and I,
that's really our formula.
it's great. And I'm sorry to be jumping in, but
No,
I wanted to reiterate too, based off of what you just said, that conversation with the Kings. We had a similar conversation here on IPA with them, and with Kirk being the money guy, he's smart. He knows how to invest responsibly and clever. He understands what they were talking about too, because what I liked is that they said that they basically weren't willing to sell themselves because they wanted to still maintain their artistry of who they are, who the twins are. They're twin kings. They dominate. They know who they are. They understand their artwork and what they're trying to do. And their concept albums are brilliant. And the way that I think each title is a continuation of a sentence, and they wrote like a whole poem. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
very deep, and
Yeah.
it's music to most people, but to them it's more than just that. And when them talking about the turning down deals, it was smart, because a lot of people listening are like, well, I'm trying to get that deal and you're just going to throw it away. And it's like, but they would have thrown away who they were, and they wouldn't have had that control. And it's very important for artists out there. If you're a true artist and you really are trying to just make your art and create and be the boss, as Dom said earlier, put
Yeah.
yourself in that mindset where you're now the boss. Kirk said it earlier, you have control of these other 13 hours of your day. You want that control. You want to be who you are trying to be. And sometimes
Yeah.
these deals, if you're not smart about it and you're not really reading between the lines, you could screw yourself. You could hurt
Yeah.
yourself.
right.
You may get a lot of money up front, but what's going to happen down the long roll? Where's the survival? Where's that finance that's going to last you after a year, after 2 years, 10 years down the road? And that's what the twins were saying, is like, they were reading it and realizing like, yeah, it's a lot of offer on the table, but where's the value for them? And I think
Yeah.
other artists out there should be aware of that. Pay attention to the value for yourself. Know your value. Dom said it before on the show. I think Kirk has said it in his episode before. Know your value,
Yeah.
and I like that you guys had that interview with them on as well, and they said the same thing. And that's when I realized a lot of the guests you had, they're genuine, they're truthful, they're telling their story, who they are. And I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
They didn't say anything different than they did in my interviews as well. They were 100% authentic. And from having witnessed that personally myself, it makes me enjoy every other guest I see come on your show. And I'm sorry for the long-winded story, but that also takes me back
Oh,
to
you're
you
fine.
stating the whole like vetting who comes on your show, and why you do the process that you have, or why you
Yeah.
go about doing
Right.
the things you do.
That's it,
Yeah,
man.
that
That's it.
is what it is.
Yeah.
And even with the twins, we had a cool portion of our show where they was talking about, I was listening when they were talking about the deals, and I was looking to see, okay, what was the funky business, what was they were doing, this, that, and the third. But they got to a point where they was like, hey, and then economically, they were honest with themselves. Like, economically, this doesn't make sense for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this person's willing to put this amount of investment in, yeah. But if things don't go like extremely well, then we're left, like how you said, with no control of X, Y, and Z. Everything that they work for just kind of like gets stripped and sold into parts. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's like showing creatives all across the board, people who are trying to do anything independent all across the board. Is like everything is one form of investing in some form or another. It's investing, right? So, like, even in the industry, there's somebody who doesn't know anything about doesn't know anything about an artist, but they look at the charts just like how we would in investing. They look at the charts and go, here's how much I'm willing to invest in this one because they get this return. This one because they get this return. Oh, this one doesn't get a lot of return, but they get a lot of watch hours on social media. So here's the investment that would make sense for them because we can draw these people in. Like, all of it is you get back to investing in somewhere, shape, or form. So that's how we're
Right.
able to like draw that, like, those similarities and say, hey, we're operating with a lot of the same principles. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I said earlier, it's about knowing your own value. You guys are
Yeah.
very good about knowing everyone else's value, more so
Mhm.
than they might want to give themselves credit for. Just like how you guys were each complimenting each other, but wouldn't compliment yourself because you understand what your value is, but you also want others to know, like, hey, you're worth this, and you should,
Mhm.
approach your stuff this way because you're worth this value,
Yeah,
and you should be aware of that. Approach it that way. Be smart. Take those
absolutely.
You
chances
know,
because you deserve it.
nobody does that for artists.
No,
Um,
they don't. And the best that I
no-
can do is just give a platform for people to share all the stuff they go through, the good stuff and the bad stuff, because I want people that are like, hey, I want to be a rapper. Okay, be a rapper. This is an artist who is an active indie rapper going through everything, and he tells you all the good stuff, all the fun, exciting stuff, but he also tells you all the crap that they have to put up with, the things
Yeah,
that hurt them and can potentially ruin them sometimes, but they push forward. And I love being able to give
right.
that platform. And you guys do something very similar, but I feel like you give a bit more than just a platform for people to express themselves.
Because we actually in it. We actually doing it. This ain't nothing. Me and Kirk didn't read a book or watch some YouTube videos and say, let's do this. Kirk
yes,
literally has been investing full time for almost a decade. So he can talk to you about what investments you need to get, how to do this, how to do this, how to budget your money, why you shouldn't buy this, what's about to happen. This is the news that you need to watch. And for myself, I've I go to the studio often. I'm around artists. I have a master's in business. And I don't even like talking about that because I know how people are on social media and in the space that just because you have a degree that doesn't make you smart, right? But I don't lead with that. I'll lead with the experience when it comes to the creative space. Like, this is what I did in the creative space. And if it comes to that, hey, bro, it's in this book. This is literally something that we did a project on. I did a paper on that. So if you don't believe it this way, there's decades, hundreds of years of proof that this is why you got to do it this way. Then, we put that together again, and voila. It's
I
it's
love it.
it's
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Once again, as always, I get you guys on the show and I have a direction I want to go, and it ends up going in a completely different direction, which I love because we just get deep with
yeah.
it. But I want to rein it in just a little bit, and I kind of want to ask you guys about your technical aspects for everything. How do you go about, once you've already mentioned how you just naturally just reach out and have the bravery to connect with someone else and tell them, like, hey, I'm a genuine person, not a robot, just trying to connect here. But how do you go about the technical aspects of creating this content? We mentioned Kirk is the graphic designer. I know you guys make videos, much like how IPA is now doing videos. It's part of the reason why watching Shock the Culture, watching another buddy of mine do a live show made me go, you know what? I need to evolve with the content as well and create videos, and also just trying to stay alive through TikTok because I was like, I don't understand TikTok. Let me make some shorts form on video formatting. So, what is the technical walkthrough for you guys? Getting the show, setting the lineup, recording, putting it out there. Can you give me just a brief little technical breakdown and how you operate?
Well, I could speak. Look, Dom does everything. I just show up. I should say, but,
That's it. Hire yourself a dom, and you're good.
hey, Dom, I'm very grateful. He makes it easy because he's always doing something. He's literally always doing something. And like I was just showing that he's like, "Yo, bro, you want to do this Chingy interview?" And I was like, "Huh?" But I'm like, what do you
How'd you get
mean? Do I
that?
want you to, yeah, do I want to we were just talking about basketball and Jordan and LeBron debates, and he brings up Kobe, and we have that whole debate. He's like, yeah, you want to do a Ching interview? But I think from a technical standpoint, it's it's more so of I can speak from my the conversations that we do have. Well, it's more so of like what's the point that we're trying to convey? You know what I'm saying? And then next, then what's the best way to put that out? So
Okay.
it might
Yeah.
be something. Sometimes what I've noticed is we'll lead with, "Hey, this is something that we want to convey. Let's put out a popular clip of." A celebrity or somebody who's well known saying it, and then see how people take to it, and then we'll post something kind of like reiterating that point, but we already now like are able to gravitate. We already have people gravitating to, hey, this is the point that we're about to make. Now you see a celebrity endorsing it, so you know what I'm saying. Now you're going to be more. You can hear our point of view from it, and that's something that
Right.
me and Dom shared. I got from a book. This is some sauce right here, Jacob. I got from a book called The YouTube Formula by Daryl Reeves, I think. Um, and he was saying, and Mr. Beast does the forward. And
Oh
Mr.
wow.
Beast,
Okay.
yeah,
The kid loves
Mr.
that guy.
Yeah, Mr. Beast was basically saying like, what YouTube wants you to do is to put your spin on the popular things or the things that are trending. So there's no matter what field you're in, there's something or somebody popular that's already talking about it. So if you notice, like from a technical standpoint, even social media has started with the remix feature.
Yeah.
Remix with this thing that's already trending and that's already going, that's already getting the numbers, and then you come in and give your opinion because that little first part of remix is going to bring people to the content.
Right.
So, what started with it was like I read that book and then I came to Dom like, okay, he's a technical person. Hey, if we want to talk about XYZ, rather than just us going in there and people thinking that we're Joe and Schmo, let's, hey, Snoop said the same thing that we're going to say about independent and knowing your worth and knowing your value. So what happens if we clip up a Snoop thing with him saying that? And then, bam, we get 100,000 views off of that. And then we come in and talk about it. Now people are like, the same people who are interested in that topic of independence and stuff, now they're watching us. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
You're giving them more than just that quick clip. You're giving them like, oh, there's more to this. It's like, yeah, come check this out. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah. And then
and
I know with your recordings, it's all, sometimes cell phone interviews, it's
mm,
laptop, desktop interviews,
yeah,
all that. But once again, I ask a question and I get something deeper than I thought I would get.
yeah,
I really like that. That's a brilliant way of putting the show together. That's smart.
yeah.
And
And it's
it
funny.
makes more of it make sense.
And it's from the planet to the words that shock the culture. It might be somebody you recognize talking about something that you wouldn't expect them to talk about. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
It's
So like
personal.
we might have we want to talk about let's say we want to talk about something community awareness. We might have Allen Iverson. A clip might go viral with Allen Iverson talking about community awareness. And it's like people recognize AI, but I didn't know AI was. And then that's the clip that gets 600,000 views or whatever the case may be. And it just like, it shocks the culture. Because it's like, yeah, I
Yeah,
recognize this
there it
clip.
is.
Yeah.
And you get the where's the full interview? I love that comment.
Hmm.
Where'd you find this?
Yeah. Yeah. So Dom is great at that. He's great at like plucking those things out. So it's kind of like a dynamic where, I have a little more free time. So I'm like doing research and, doing some like getting some information, some recon. And then I'm like, okay, how can we bring this to shock the culture? How can we bring this to fruition? And then we have a conversation and he sends me a text like, hey, look at this video. What's up? It's at 300,000. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
it's at X, Y, and Z. And it's like, oh, well, this is cool. you know,
I dig
this
it.
is dope.
It shocks the culture. I love it, and it's starting to make a lot more sense now to me with everything that's happening.
Yeah, so shock the culture, man. We've evolved, as Kirk, the money man, as you call him, and I
A smart investor.
I do the marketing, and we talked about artists and getting our first corporate account. Uh, we're here for businesses and entrepreneurs. We put this together for anybody out there that needs help with making money, Marketing, social media, consultations, because we always got our ear to the. Can you say ear to the street in business?
Why not?
ear,
Why not? You're your own boss.
ear to the business world. But we're here. This is the place to come if you need any of that. We've grown, Elliot helping people make money, me helping people market. We put it together. Now you got somebody who's gonna help you make money and help you market, and that's only gonna increase the bottom line in your business.
And I can attest again to the actual wanting to help people. You guys actually were kind enough to invite me to a free consultation, which unfortunately, when you guys were doing that, I was still working and I missed it. But I love that you reached out, you thought about me, and you said, "Hey, this might be good for you if you can make it." And I was like, "Man, that's so awesome." But unfortunately, I was working. But I know that every now and then you guys also do certain free events for people. Like, you should come and check this out, take away what you take away from it. And then, of course, you have your other things that you elect to help people with that are, more business oriented, more financial gains oriented. But the fact that you still do these free consultations, I think that's awesome, because a lot of people are like, "Yeah, I need money." And it's like, "Well, come send me $50 and check out my webinar." And it's like,
Yeah,
I need the money first. And you're like,
right.
"This is free. Come check this out. We'll help you get that $50 and you can go into a deeper program if you need to."
That's
So
it.
I personally appreciate that. I think it's nice, and it's very unusual to see folks do that.
Appreciate it, man. And
But
it's
you know where your finance is. You have faith in your business and what you're doing.
and you that's a perfect segue because I wanted to say, I want to talk to those business owners, and we're here for the business owners who are in this type of situation right here. I see so many people who are able to help people who have a lot get more. You know what I'm saying? And it's people is like, hey, if you have 10,000 in the bank and an 800 credit score and you don't know what to do with your time or your money, hey, come get this business in the box, or come get this, get this setup that's going to give you hundreds and thousands of dollars a month in overhead. And we're going to give you all the fancy stuff. And now we just got to come up with a product for you, or we just got to pick. But sometimes you have people who have, like, they feel like that business idea might be a blessing from God, or it might be a sign. And they might be at a 550 credit score and don't even have $550 in their accounts combined. But they're like, if I can get the right direction with this business, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing that's going to get me out of debt. That's the thing that's going to get money in my pocket. So we help people who are there and beyond. Like we said, we have corporate clients where they have the money and just maybe missed a little bit of ingenuity. But it gets like personal, where we can help the person who's like, I have this great idea, but I don't have 10,000 to spend on a consultation, or I don't have all of these clients. I have a great idea and I need to connect with clients. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or I need to know how to leverage my social media. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like,
well, and that's a little peek behind the curtain here, and I mentioned it to Dom. I said, at a certain point, I'm going to get to a position where I'm going to actually be coordinating with you guys for that help with social media, because
yeah,
that's something that me personally, as the content creator for IPA, I'm very weak in the social media field, and that's important, especially with podcasts. It's important with
yeah,
any kind of creator content that you're trying to put out there, is knowing how social media works. And I have some things that I've grown and improved on, but by myself solo, it's been difficult to figure out, how do I really construct this to be the best, most effective way to get my content out there, because this show is not for me, it's for my artists. And if I'm not getting it out there well enough, I'm not really helping them as much as I want to. And so that's something that I know, as a peek behind the curtain. I plan to work with you guys in the future on helping develop that social media content. So anyone that's listening to this show, if it's a year from now, it's thanks to them that you found this. If you're listening right now, look forward to seeing more stuff happening soon.
yeah,
And I recommend to anyone out there that's any kind of content creator, if you're struggling with, like Kirk mentioned, social media or finances in general, and you're just trying to figure out a direction and you want some good advice, reach out to these guys. All the links are in the show notes. Do yourself that favor and check these guys out and shock the culture.
Shock the
yeah,
culture.
yeah.
Well, it's because we've done this before, but this time these questions are going to be directed towards this towards shock the culture and the movement. And of course, my first question for you is, what is the biggest challenge that you guys have had to face with getting this movement up and running? What is your biggest challenge with shock the culture?
I was I was saying I just think first it's a funny answer. It's not
Hey, there's no right or wrong. It is what it is.
man. I just always tell my brother down here how valuable his time is. He'll call me. It's 7:38 in the morning. Man, I was talking to this artist from Coosahatchee, Mississippi, with 12 followers who ain't recorded a song since 2020. And he was telling me, and I'm like, Dom, respectfully, F them, man. Your time is too valuable to be to be rocking with people who are not consistent. Like,
Yeah.
and I've just been just beating that drum for about three.
You've been consistent with it.
Yeah, like to not, yeah, be consistent with just like, I promise you, bro, there's so many more people that who we can help who are serious.
Mm,
Like, don't even give them your time. They're not even qualified to talk to you.
mm.
And so for me, that's the funny part. That's been the quote unquote like toughest part. Like, hey, Dom, don't even worry about them, bro. Let's go over here where it's really popping.
Yeah. It's just the helper in me. You know.
Yeah.
Uh, I say a challenge for me. It's been that and holding back because of that, holding back what you really want to say. Because I'm all about how your brand looks. I don't want to be looked at as the guy that turns up on people that ain't doing what they supposed to do, you know. And I think that's probably why Kirk might get the 7 o'clock calls because I'm taking it out on him. Look,
Fair.
yeah, I didn't go off on them, and and I slowed down on that because I think I was like, man, Kirk, right? Yeah, I ain't even gonna bring this up to bro because it's been more, but yeah, it's that and not you. This is a business and this is a movement. Dealing with people that are serious and as we said, like the vetting process, but you know how it is. Jacob, you get the people, man, I'm gonna come on IPA. You set it up. Hey, where are you? I'm not here. Oh man, I totally forgot. Oh man, that was today. Oh, I was supposed to do that. It's like, bro, okay. So it's just, I guess, the toughest part is nothing in the process because that's another thing. It's entrepreneurship. It's a business. You decided to do this, so we understand that this is what comes with it. So the toughest part
Yeah.
is the fact that there's not like a corporate structure or HR or anybody you can report to in
Yeah.
essence. Like if this was at work and somebody did that, no call, no show, you could just X them out, fire them. It's like the fact
Yeah.
that it's like, oh, I can't really say what I want to say. I'll keep it business, but I'm cussing you out in my
Yeah.
head though.
I could, yeah, and I can see how that's a huge challenge too. I mean, like Kirk was onto something there. Consistency is a big challenge, and that goes into what you were saying about like the consistency of making sure that it all comes together. I myself have been guilty of that, where it's like, oh no, that was today because in my consistency, I didn't plan it out properly. I forgot to mark it in my calendar. I
Yeah,
didn't put it in my alarm. And thankfully, I've had some guests reach out, and I'll get an email or a text, and it's like, "Hey, where's the link? What's going on?" It's like, "Oh my god, I have failed you. I'm the one that's supposed to be doing this, and I messed up on my end because I wasn't being consistent enough." I think that challenge, it can work both ways, both as the creator and as someone who's trying to work with someone else. And like
right.
you said, I can't fire myself. I messed up. But thankfully, a lot of people are pretty understanding, and it's like, "Hey, we'll reschedule for this," and I try to, make up for it. And I've had people do that to me where they reach out and they go, "Hey, I completely forgot this was going on. I have this happening right now." And just simply responding to me and letting me know lets me go, "Okay, cool. No, I like this. We can work with this. We can work around it." It's being responsible. whether you made the mistake or they did, the fact that you communicate, it works. I don't like when someone misses and they don't communicate to me and I don't hear anything until like maybe a month or two later. It's kind of like, well, all right, man, like it's been a while, but appreciate you reaching out now,
Yeah,
because I'm going to give you the courtesy of like immediately responding within the time frame. Like, hey, I know I'm 2 hours late. I messed up. You know, can we work on this? I like that genuine, like, I made a mistake, but I'd like to keep this going. It shows me that you're still interested. And hopefully when I make a mistake and I reach out to you, it shows you that I'm still very much interested in having
right.
you come on as well.
Right.
So
So
yeah, consistency is a key for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's these unexpected moments too as we grow and build our businesses, our shows, our creations that we're working on. You guys have experience. Kirk is experienced with the investing world and getting the finances together. Dom, you're experienced with dealing with artists, dealing with creating your own agency. But what has been something unexpected with creating Shock the Culture that you've had to deal with? And maybe it's something that you guys learned in the moment that you were like, wow, something new once again has come up that you just weren't anticipating at all.
In this space now, you have to stay kind of up to date with the trends on how like the algorithms and stuff are working and
Oh
changing.
yeah.
So it went from, like, for instance, it went from, hey, the more you post in this media, you're going to be rewarded for that. The more you post on IG, you're going to be rewarded for that. Now it's like, this is just an example. Now 2 months later, that might work against you. So you might be oversaturating, and now your post might not be reaching as far because your followers don't miss you. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case
Yeah.
may be. So just keep it up with social media. And also competing, like when you really want to make a difference, people's mindset is being it's like tug of war everywhere. So for
Yeah.
people's attention, so people could tell you, they could cry to you and be like, I want this so bad. Thank y'all for believing in me. You guys are angels. You guys are this. And it's like, hey, you showing up to that free consultation? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, I got, my third cousin's baby sister, she doing a hot dog sale. And it's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. So it's just like dealing with the changing algorithm, um, social media, and keeping people engaged. So that's
Yeah.
that's another thing. Like, we help you get money. That was my whole thing. I presented to Don, like, bro, we help people get money. It's now they
I
listen.
No, I like that because that's like that's a natural thing. That's something that's a given of like, that's all. You cannot expect those things to always be on point. It should always be prepare and plan, like, prepare for the best, plan for the worst.
Yeah, yeah,
And that is natural. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You can't anticipate those things to always happen. You can only do your best to try and put them on course.
yeah, yeah,
can
for
I
sure.
talk about a unexpected moment?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Kirk gonna laugh at this.
I said I was sorry I missed the free consultation already.
No,
No.
no.
All right, so Kirk, we have these talks about content and what works and
Yeah.
what's gonna go off. And Kirk told me about list, and I told Kirk I don't want to do a list because I don't want to. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk to people about why they didn't make it and who you know who I missed. I just don't even want to have them conversations because it's really my opinion. If you really think
Mm,
about it, even though I did have a formula. So I always get these wild hairs. I'll just, up. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a list and make a graphic, and I'm gonna tag all the artists in it that I'm gonna do. And I did it. I said I'm gonna do a 20-person list. The max tags you could do on Instagram is 20 people, and I know they're gonna share it and comment, and then the people on their pages are gonna do the same thing. So I made a list. It blew up. It did really well. Shout out to Kirk.
mm.
But what I didn't expect was people really getting mad. there was people DMing me. There was people under there really mad, like FD's lists. Y'all use these lists to uplift the artists that y'all rock with. This ain't real. Like like they were really getting mad, and I was like, yo,
Wow.
we're just shock the culture. This ain't BET or Billboard, but hey, I was kind of like, is this what y'all? Maybe we need to do another list. What top 20 songs? top
Now we know why we get the lists all the
top
time.
top
Yeah.
20 female rappers. Wait, maybe I should do because they was really and it was people. And it's funny because I think
Is it simply because they just didn't agree with your
it
list?
was that, and there was actually an artist on there that made the list that was mad at the song that I attached and said there's other hits. And we talked. I said, bro, I put you on the list. Man, I'm just tired of y'all tagging the same song. Like that's the only song that went off this year. And I'm like, bro, you on the list though. F that
Yeah.
list. I work with everybody on this list. It turned into that. And I'm like, I'm hitting Kirk. I'm like, bro, you see these comments? I told you we should have been did. It was just that was a dope. Of course, outside of the obvious guess,
Yeah.
but I was like, this is
Yeah.
something we literally created from scratch, from a graphic, and tag people in it. Put the hashtags, the little thin line.
It wasn't supposed to be as big a deal as it
No,
became.
no, it was because you want everything to be a big deal. But I didn't think
Oh,
we were
okay.
going to actually. You even had. I remember artists. He went under there promoting his album, and it took everything in me to not go. I don't even see this album on your profile. Like you don't. You're not even marketing this album that you say you just dropped. I didn't know you had music. I didn't even know he rapped.
Oh
Okay.
goodness.
Yeah, so it turned
That's
into okay. Yeah, I didn't make the shot the culture list, but it put it. We got a lot of followers off of it. We got a lot of shares. It was people under there talking. We got some verified accounts that shared it. Got to talking.
Great.
It was dope. It was a dope little week. Uh, some people knew it was
Just not expecting those wild
yeah. Some people
reactions.
knew it was us. Some people didn't. But it was dope. You know, I wish I could put everybody on there, and I honestly mean that because there's a lot of good music out there. But I had to narrow it to 20, and I used the criteria of who's popping, who's posting, who's moving.
yeah.
Like I always say, not to dig deep into the artists, but you do have artists that are really, really good at making music and rapping, but they don't do it. If that make it if that went over your head, listen to what I'm saying. They're really good at making music and rapping, but they don't do it. They don't post. They don't make music. They don't put it out there. So, they're dealing with
Yeah.
whatever they're dealing with, but I didn't see it. It didn't come across my algorithm. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean
And,
you're not
and
good. It just didn't come across our algorithm, bro.
yeah.
Yep.
It was one of those things too where it was just like for somebody who's a casual viewer or who's like, hey, I'm not really interested in like the mainstream hip hop where everybody sounds the same. That list could be a starting point for them. So that was why I suggested to Dom. I'm like, what if what if we did a top 20 list, of artists from whatever state or whatever it may be. So that might be like for somebody who's not about to go through and hashtag independent artists. Bam! Now I have this list to start with. You know what I'm saying? And I
Right.
could you've done some of the work for me. You've made it easier. Just like like a Google search. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to go digging through a encyclopedia and read it. I could just type it into Google. So I feel like that helped us get a lot of followers. But I don't feel like it. I know it helped get a lot of followers. Yeah,
Right.
it was lit. It was fun. And I was like, look, now we might have people who are like casual fans who are like, oh look, my cousin was talking about he rapping. He said he been doing this thing. He actually made a list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Let me go check his music out now. And
right.
let's shock the culture. I like this. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
yeah.
Well, I love this concept of these lists now, and I feel like that's a great segue into my next question, which is dealing with the hard realities. And I feel like a hard reality is going to be making these lists.
Mhm.
You know, it's these things that you just you can't change it. You can't do anything about it. It is what it is. It's a fact of life, not an opinion. You
Mhm.
know, and I want to know for you guys, what has been the hard reality for shock the culture? You just have to accept that this is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. So how do you move forward? How do you work around it? How do you embrace it?
A lot of people aren't gonna like the truth
Yeah.
as we try to
Truth is
shock,
the hardest reality.
yeah,
Absolutely.
as we try to shock the culture through conversations and content in the truth. Some people aren't gonna like our truths because they don't want to think. And me and Kirk had these conversations. Like literally, the proof is right here. I'm telling you the steps. I'm telling you this is why it didn't work. But be you'll rather be comfortable not getting results versus being uncomfortable getting results. And
Yeah.
that's something that we dealt with as athletes. We woke up at 4:30 because we had to be at a workout at 5, and we had to go lift 200 plus pounds 10 times on 5 reps because we had a game and there were bigger guards and bigger players that we had to try to get around. And even at practice, or you had to go run 2 miles at 5 a.m. on a Friday. So you had to decide were you really going to go out to college night on Thursday. We know our coach did that on purpose. He knew college night was on Thursday
Yeah.
and that the club closed at 3 o'clock in North
Right.
Carolina. So he made 5 a.m. 2 miles. And then if you didn't make it, he did it on Sundays, knowing, are you
Yeah.
going to go out on Saturday? So that's what I'm saying. We dealt with being uncomfortable. So for us, it's no excuse, bro. We're telling you what works.
Yeah.
You need to do it. If you don't want to do it, you ain't serious. So that's what shocking the culture is about. We're
Yeah.
gonna do the research. We're gonna tell you the steps. You can come get in with us, or you can keep doing it the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's amazing too. The best way to shock the culture is give them some truth. That's insane to
Yeah.
me. It's like,
Oh,
oh, you're just telling the
got
truth,
to.
and that's shocking everyone.
And I've
Shocking.
and I've
And
and
being
I've got
hurt.
some truths that were uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like learning, you know, dealing with my man here, Kirk, well read. It's sometimes that he done told me like that, Dom, why you think that worked? And I'll say, well, this is how it's worked for me, but sometimes he'll tell me, well, think about the masses that might have worked for you, but there's a whole nother lane to where that might not work. So we should do it this way because it may bring it here, you know? So just dealing with
Yeah.
the harsh reality of truth for a whole versus nah, and just getting outside of myself. Everybody, like, he told me everybody wasn't athletes. Everybody don't understand it that way. You have to be able to convey and relay messages to people that don't understand it the way that you may understand it. Because for me,
Yeah.
nobody gave us empathy. Our coach didn't care. We was throwing up. Your job don't
Ugh.
care. Working a job. It's just
Mhm.
stuff that you dealt with all through life. That is just this melting
Yeah.
pot of
Yeah.
who you are right now. And then it's you know
Yeah.
now being in a creative space, you have to learn how to deal with all type of different people in a different way because they're giving you their raw self. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah,
It's,
I like that.
yeah.
Well, speaking of telling the truth, I'd like to know what has been the most valuable takeaway with Shock the Culture for you guys. Something that's helped you both grow and improve as artists, as entrepreneurs, as businessmen. What has been the most valuable takeaway for you?
I would say just learning how to operate on principle.
Oh, nice.
Like learn how to operate on principle is simple. Like and then that helps you to make a decision. Like I might have somebody who I'm like, yo, this person would be a great podcaster, but they operate off emotion rather than principle, right? So they don't believe in they can talk with the best of them, but they don't believe in the editing part. You see what I'm saying? The doing the editing part and all of that necessary little icky work. But at the same time, they don't want to pay anybody to outsource and do that for them either. So it's just like they're just good at one dimension of it. So I have to make a decision. Okay, Jacob is good not only at the talking part, but he's also good at the consistency part. And he understands the importance of the intricacies of editing. So do I rock with Jacob over here, right? Knowing that he's going to be here every single day, or do I just continue to put my energy into the person with the potential and the talent, but who doesn't see the value in everything else?
Come rock with me.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's a principle, So we talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he has the consistency, the this, the that, on top of the talent versus this person who has just the talent but doesn't respect principles. So when you get into this business field, like in this creative field, there's no, like Dom said, there's no HR, there's no manager to oversee and for you to report to. Hey, such and such not doing his job. So you just have to make that tough decision. Like, all right, you know what? I love this person, or I love these people. But like, if I want to become an All American, and I got to hoop with the people who are in the gym at the All American camp, I can't keep trying to convince my homeboy, who I believe can be an All American, to come to the camp with me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one thing where it's helped me to just, like Dom said, learn more, study more, pray more, meditate more, and be like, you know what? Help me out.
Evolve.
Yeah, evolve, operate off a principle, and not just this. And that's why I rock with Dom so heavy, because he's talented and consistent. So we can talk about something, and then the convo is going to progress. Like a year ago, Shock the Culture was a thought. We're here talking to you about getting our first corporate client, and you're here like you've interviewed some of the music clients that we've had. So it went from a thought to, in reality, it's just moving and progressing, and it makes it less. To me, that's the less stressful part. The more stressful part for me is just, oh, we still talking about the same thing. Like we still ain't we we ain't even made the mistake yet, so that we can see how to move forward from the mistake. Because people are so scared to make the mistake,
Hey, what?
And Dom not.
I'm laughing at our combo the other day. I got a
What?
lot going on. What are we doing?
Yeah, I got a
What are
lot
we
going
doing here?
on.
What are we doing here, man? We talk about the same thing. What we doing, bro? But yeah,
Yes,
just
yes.
willing to make
So
the
like,
mistakes, put the foot on the gas, man. I'm with that, bro.
yeah,
Well, no, I love that, and yeah, I think it's a great takeaway to have, because it's a way for you to evolve and grow, as you said. And what you notice is, by you focusing on what you need to do, what you and Dom need to work on and improve on and showcase to others. Now those people that you had mentioned that you do care about, but they just don't have that principle, they start to see that you're the reliable source. You're someone that they should actually be taking these chances with, getting themselves involved with, to help themselves grow if they take themselves seriously. And you'll start seeing those folks coming around in time as well. So it's a great way to grow, and I think it's a very valuable experience to
that
have.
was a gym. That was a gym. Hold on, we got to do the bomb drop. That was a gym, Jacob. Hold on.
Ooh.
I like that. I like
I
that.
might clip. We gotta clip.
Well,
We gotta clip that. We gonna clip it when we get it.
you clip that for me. Yeah, I'll put it
Oh,
up
we
there.
go.
Yeah,
Hey,
send me the track.
listen to Jacob from IPA and what he says about Shock the Culture. You guys are. There you go. That's a marketing tip for y'all.
It's such
I
a
mean,
gym.
I am slightly biased, but I tell the truth, so it is what it is. We mentioned the unexpected earlier, but I want to know now about the expected. What did you guys want from Shock the Culture? And I know that you've been saying a lot throughout this conversation, and I guess I'm just going to have you reiterate one more time for me, but what did you want?
To change the world.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Nah,
change the
seriously.
world.
Direct, simple, direct, to the point. It's shocking. I love it.
Nah, nah,
Change the world.
Seriously, because and this another conversation, you getting insight on our conversations, and this is something that me and Kirk both agree on. Again, coming from being athletes, I told someone this today. Um, I went live and I talked about this. When when I played basketball, I wanted to be like Kobe, right? So you look at who's the big dog in what you want. You don't look at, oh, there's a dude at the gym that be going crazy. I'm trying to be like him when I grow up. No, like if you doing it, you know what I'm saying? Like, so in this, you shoot for the freaking ozone, or what do you call it? The black hole. Shoot for that galaxy you ain't seen yet. That they
The
still
galaxy
trying to
far, far
find.
away.
Yeah, like that's what we shoot for. You shoot for. You don't do. Oh, let me see how this goes. No, we did too much planning. We took too many meetings, too many text messages, too many video calls, too many content meetings for us to be like, well, let's just see how this go. No, bro, we trying to change the world. We got the internet, we got YouTube, we got the content. We talking to people. It's really like no holds bar. If you can go crazy at your 9 to 5, you can go crazy for yourself. If you're gonna go all balls to the wall for somebody that could just fire you, why don't you do that for something that you created yourself? Like Kirk said, we got a corporate client, bro, like on our first meeting. Now, that only is gonna make you think that your possibilities are endless. Like that's how everybody should think. Like you like, come on, man. Like, come on. I work a 9 to 5 where you have to get an average of 150,000 in loan sales, and it's 4 or 5 people in the branch. Do that times 5. That's over $500,000 for a company that can just tomorrow. Well, during the pandemic, they laid people off. Just they walked in, no warning. Hey, we gotta furlough one of y'all. There'll be a meeting at 2 to tell you who it is.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like
The worst.
that's
that,
scary.
that. So why wouldn't you think, man? You think we can get a Drake interview? I've
Yeah.
shot some crazy shots. That's gonna be content one day. Where I want to show all the DMs.
Yeah.
We try, like, trust me, like, no, unbelievable, like, bro. uh, all it is, they gonna read it. If they read it, that's content. In 2020, I emailed Victor Wembanyama. This is real. But when he was 15, you know what I'm saying? I have the email like, oh, Kendall Marshall turned us down. I have the DM. Tim Thomas said no, but then he went on All the Smoke. We ain't All the Smoke, but I still took offense to that. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's the competitiveness, and it can only grow from that. That's how I feel. That's the
And to
expect.
piggyback, to piggyback on something Dow said was so key. Imagine all of those people out there who are having those meetings like, hey, somebody about to get furloughed and it's one of y'all. You get that message at 9:03 a.m. and you got to work the rest of that day wondering, man, it's a 20% chance I might be that one. So
Yeah, right. Like, just fire me so I don't even show up at
That's
work.
how it
I don't
went.
even want to have to show up.
We walked
and
in
then,
before lunch.
so yeah, so imagine those people who have been denying themselves, denying like investing in themselves outside of work. Oh no, I'm not gonna learn this skill. I'm not gonna follow this passion. I'm not gonna do this thing that I'm good at. They've been giving all of their energy and effort, their A+ energy to that company, and then they just come in one day like, hey, yeah, we about to fire one of y'all. So now, look, all that stuff they put on the back burner about themselves, they go like, I knew I should have learned how to do X, Y, and Z. I knew I should have learned to make money another way. I knew I should have continued that course or started marketing because I love social media. I knew I should have done something. So what shocked the coach when Diamond saying like impact the world is showing people like how to be proactive with themselves first. Like when we talk about appreciate your value, understand everybody has value, but it's up to us. When I say appreciate, I mean it in a literal investing sense. Like if I watch a property appreciate from 10,000 to 90,000, there's something that went into it to make it go. There's some renovations that made it go from 10,000 to 90,000. You might have put 30,000 worth of renovation in there. So you wake up every day with value, but how do you personally appreciate your own value? Is it what you read, what you study, what you put in your mindset, what you put in your body? How do you appreciate your own value so that these companies can't, if they fire you, it's more so like a relief. Like I had one of my clients get fired. He's 24 and he's done so much work on the charts. When they let him go, he was like, I get 40 hours a week back. Like he was like, I'm not mad at all.
There
Like
you go.
I get more time to trade. And I don't have to try to trade while I'm at work. I ain't got to I get time to chill. And his account has been going, but he's been appreciating his value because of the work he puts in every day. So it's just we say change the world to shock the culture because like Jake, like what is our culture now? When you hear the word culture, it's like it's not a lot to be proud of. You
No.
know,
And I'm white. There's really not a lot on my end to be proud of. I can tell
yeah,
you that much.
yeah, and
It is what it is.
yeah, and
But yeah, you're right.
we're in a different time, man. Like so you gotta appreciate your own value. There might have been a time where our parents or our grandparents could have worked for a company for 25 years, retired, and been all right. Nowadays, it's like nah.
There's people there. I see people in their 80s and 70s working as greeters at Walmart and stuff
Yes,
because they have to work. Now, I know a lot of folks they like to work, which is fine, but the conversations I've had with a lot of folks is no, I need to work. I don't have a pension. I don't have this. I don't have that. And it's like that's not what I was brought up to be raised to believe. Like, no, you work, you put in this time, you get this benefit, you retire, you take it, and it's like so far I haven't seen any of that happen for anyone.
yeah, because
Mm.
you're and from an investment point, not to go to the nerd, but it's like it's reality. You're making all your money. Think about this. Just think about this. Somebody who started working in the 80s, then they worked in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, right? So their pension is going to be like 60 something percent of whatever their highest earning gap was. So imagine getting paid in today's time off of $2,000, like the year 2000s and that pay scale. So
We ain't
40,
gonna get paid.
yeah, 40,000 in the year 2000 might have been like, oh yeah, I'm making 40 grand. And imagine getting paid 66% of that in 2024 and you have to live off that the rest of your life. Think about
Mm.
just the difference in cost. You know what I'm saying?
It's
So,
wild.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I want to move this along too because you're giving out so much great advice, and that was going to be part of my next question. And I feel like you've already given out a ton of great advice, but is there anything else that you guys would like to say to anyone out there looking to do what you do, whether it's investing, being a talent agent, or shocking the culture? Uh, is there any advice you have to anyone out there, especially if they want to create a movement like you guys are doing? They want to create something that's good, that helps others, and they want to work with people of the same mindset and the same principles. Do you have any advice for them?
Um, I have a simple one that I let down, but I'll do something that worked for me. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but before I became an entrepreneur, I wanted to help 3 entrepreneurs grow their business. And so that was like put on my heart. So I get to see like, let me see what it's like to be second in command. Let me see what it's like to be the guy on the side. And then, go out and do my own thing. I can learn, I can get experience. So look, if y'all really want to like grow your own thing, whatever case may be, come to Shock the Culture. Like and be honest about your intentions. Hey, yeah, we'll show you. Hey, come work with us for 6 months. Come work with us for whatever. But it's like that's another principle. Like help others first before you just try to do your own thing, and it worked. It worked for me. It worked for Dom. He was a number 2 man before, we co-founded Shock the Culture. He was a number 2 man for a big company and he never talks about it, which is crazy.
We've had
But
some off-air conversations.
yeah,
I signed the NDA.
but I will say that and believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Yeah,
No.
that's
Well,
it.
I appreciate it. No, and you're absolutely right. Just pursue it.
Hey,
Yeah,
What do you got to say, Dom?
I'm gonna say something that don't nobody say. Don't jump into entrepreneurship if you trying to make money.
okay, you gonna elaborate, or you
Yep.
just go drop the mic on
That's it. Simply put, it makes sense.
them?
And the reason why I say that is it's gonna alter all your morals, and you gonna be moving in a way that ain't pure.
Mm.
And you wanna know how I know? Cause I did it. I
Mm,
People ain't pay me because I needed the money and I got mad and I could have severed relationships 2 or 3 years ago because somebody didn't pay me and I didn't have grace to maybe understand that instead of him paying me on the first, he might have paid it on the fourth. Again, as we explained, it's no HR, it's no corporate department. It's you operating out here in a space where it's you and your word, and your system and your principles. You know what I'm saying? So if you trying to make money, that that shouldn't be the core of the reason why you went into entrepreneurship. Because when you're not making money, are you gonna quit? Are you
mm.
gonna stop? The core of that entrepreneurial lane or that business that you create, it gotta be love, bro. Do you love what you trying to get into? Did you just start doing that because you heard you could make money off of it? Or you saw somebody else make money off of it? So Kirk likes investing. I like marketing. I like helping businesses and artists blow their brands up. I get a high off of somebody saying, "Bro, what you taught me or which that tip you told me, bro, look what it did."
Yeah,
I live for that. Like, not to say it like that, but like that is a dope feeling. That that feeling versus somebody buying something from us is it feels way better than that. For somebody to be like the clients that I've gotten that signed deals,
uh-huh.
that was crazy. Like getting a message,
It's awesome too.
yeah, like, hey bro, I just signed a deal. I want to thank you. What?
That's verification.
Yeah,
But not that we need it, but it's even the thank you. Like you
has
acknowledge
an
that
impact.
the help, you know what I'm saying? Or hey
Hmm.
bro, I got this show because of my numbers. Thank you. Or they saw me on this. They read this blog. They, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it's gotta grow. That's why, for us it's gonna grow. But for you, for y'all out there, hop into something that you love because you gotta stand on that. You gotta stand on that. There's days that you ain't gonna make no money, bro. That's just how the market work. Y'all done walked into empty stores. You done walked into well, Walmart's a bad example, huh? You done walked into a store you done walked into a shoe store and it wasn't no release and it was just you walking around there and you didn't buy nothing. So it's the same thing. It's gonna happen to you. People gonna be snooping around and they not gonna buy nothing yet. That's how you gotta think about it. So hop into something you love, keep grinding, keep going. Literally, keep educating yourself on ways to progress and make whatever situation you in better for yourself. And if you are where you are or you are where you want to be, just come teach me something.
I like that. That's great advice. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, at the end of the day, teach you something as well. I like it.
Good. That's good.
Woo.
I just,
Fellas, oh, I'm sorry, Kirk. Go ahead.
I just want to say one, like the Dom said, happen to some of you of yes, and just to elaborate on that, like do a principle. Hop in with a principle that you can rock with. Like me, I like I like investing because how quick I can make money and the amount I can make it in. And to me, it's like watching film, but it all goes back to I love teaching and learning. You know, so cool.
Hmm.
I love teaching people how to invest to see them make whatever they make in a check, make that in an hour. And then I'm also taking that level of teaching to coach football. Then I'm also taking that level of teaching to do business master classes. You know what I'm saying? So it's just all the same principle of teaching. So somebody might be like, well, I don't like investing. What do I like? Okay, but you like being creative and artsy. Hey, mark up the charts and some colors then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, because you go like
Like you have 13 hours in the day. Do something with it.
yeah, or do something like figure out what that principle is. Figure out what
Yeah.
the root of that thing that you like is. So yeah,
I like it.
that's it.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on again today. I love talking to y'all. I love having you on, of course. And it just keeps growing for you. And I'm so excited for Shock the Culture. It's been great following along and watching how you guys are continuing to grow and expand and elevate and evolve. So keep it up. And again, just thank you so much for coming on today. Please put yourselves out there one more time. There are links in the show notes, but how can people follow you and reach out to you? And how do we go about checking out Shock the Culture?
At Shock the Culture TV everywhere. Literally. That's a nugget too. Consistency, continuity. Make it easy. Shock the Culture TV everywhere. So it ain't Shock the C. Shock the, at Shock the Culture TV. You want to make everything the same. So on YouTube is that. On Instagram is that. Yeah, content daily. But yeah, Shock the Culture TV everywhere, man. So, update content, YouTube. Go run us up. Shout out to everybody rocking with the movement.
Yeah.
Hey mom, I know you listening.
I like it. Is there anything else you want to end on? I'm sorry. Is there anything else you would like to say before we end this? Anything else you guys want to add as we top this off? Because this has been great. I don't even know if there's anything left to say. This was awesome.
Believe in yourself. Like believe in yourself. Believe in God. Believe you've been created to be. Just stop being scary, man. Just stop being so scary. Like to take
jump. Take the jump. Do it.
Take the leap. Go.
Yeah, sorry. Take the leap.
Yeah. Go. That's it. That's it for me.
I love it. Well, guys, thank you again. As always, I appreciate it. To the listeners out there, please check out the links in the show notes and support these guys. Go follow them and, look at Shock the Culture. Be advised, be aware, and grow, evolve, all that crazy stuff. Keep it up. It's never too late to take the leap, as Kirk just stated. Believe in yourself. Do it. Be shocking to others.
Shock the Culture.
There you go. Until the next time, everyone, stay golden. Thanks for tuning in. And if you like what you heard, please rate and review, like and subscribe. Every little bit helps. And as always, the theme music of the show is provided by the Ericka page. And our brand new graphic designs are all thanks to Quality Artworks. Links are in the show notes. Go support these amazing indie artists just like they support IPA Sessions. And of course, please follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. That's at IPA Sessions Podcast. And if you or someone you know is an independent artist looking to promote their work or just share their story with us, please hit me up at ipasessionspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again, everyone, and I hope you're able to find some inspirations for practical applications and entertainment.